you tell me where the red umbrella aisle is? I asked the cashier. She froze mid-scan and her eyes went wide. And then she hit a button under the counter that I couldn't see. My mom's coworker Janet had picked me up from school because mom's car was in the shop. I had met Janet twice at company picnics, so when she pulled up with my mom's coffee tumbler in the cup holder, I got in without thinking. She said we were stopping for groceries on the way home because she needed to grab a few things, and I figured that was normal since she was doing my mom a favor. But somewhere between the produce section and the cereal aisle, she leaned down and whispered, "Your mom told me you've been struggling in math. I have a tutor friend at a learning center about 20 minutes from here. We're stopping by so you can meet him." And when I said my mom never mentioned that, Janet smiled and said, "She wanted it to be a surprise because she's worried about your grades." I texted my mom asking about the tutor, and Janet immediately said, "Put your phone away. Your mom's in meetings all afternoon. You'll just stress yourself out checking." When I said I'd rather wait and ask her myself, Janet put her hand on my shoulder and said, "I drove 40 minutes out of my way to pick you up, and now you're going to be rude?" I told her I didn't want to go to a tutoring center without talking to my mom first, and she said, "Fine, but your phone stays in my purse while we finish shopping because I'm not going to have you texting people lies about me." I said that wasn't happening, and she grabbed my wrist hard and said quietly, "You're going to do exactly what I tell you, or I'm calling your mother right now and telling her you've been sneaking out at night to meet boys." I had never snuck out, ever. I pulled away and said I needed the bathroom, and she said, "You have 2 minutes or I'm coming in there to get you." I walked toward the restrooms but kept going past them toward the registers instead. When I glanced back, Janet was following me from 3 aisles over. I grabbed a pack of gum and got in line, and Janet positioned herself at the end of the aisle with her arms crossed and her eyes locked on me. When I got to the counter, I leaned forward and said to the teenage cashier, "Can you tell me where the red umbrella aisle is?" It's a code phrase my best friend taught me after she read about trafficking. It means call the police. The cashier scrunched up her face and said, "We don't sell umbrellas." So I said it again slower, "The red umbrella aisle." But she just stared at me confused. Then she turned to the manager standing 6 feet away and said loudly, "Do we have a red umbrella aisle?" And I felt every cell in my body catch fire. The manager looked at me confused and started walking over, but then her eyes caught on something behind me and her entire expression changed. She hit the button under the counter and said into her radio, "I need security at register 4 right now." The cashier finally looked past me and saw Janet standing 2 feet behind me with her hand reaching for my backpack. The manager stepped around the counter and said, "Ma'am, step back." And Janet said smoothly, "I'm her aunt. We're just shopping together." Her voice was calm and warm, exactly the kind of adult you would believe. The cashier said quietly, "She asked about red umbrellas." And the manager's face went hard. She stepped between me and Janet and said, "Security is on the way. Stay exactly where you are." Janet grabbed my backpack and yanked me backward, and when I screamed, she announced to the whole store, "She's lying. She's my niece, and she's been shoplifting, and now she's making up stories." 2 security guards came running, and Janet yelled, "I have text messages from her mother asking me to pick her up. This is a family matter." One guard said, "Then you won't mind if we call her mother to confirm." Janet shoved me into the manager and said, "You're going to regret this. I know where you live. I know what school you go to." And then she ran toward the exit. They caught her in the parking lot trying to get into a van that wasn't the car she picked me up in. When police searched it, they found zip ties, duct tape, and a folder with photos of 6 different girls from my school. Janet didn't work with my mom. She had been watching the carpool lane for weeks.